Hello, everyone. It's great to be here today to talk about metadata within the context of real-time data, or as we prefer to call it here at Confluent, data in motion. So my name is David Araujo, and I basically spend my days thinking about metadata and thinking about tools to manage metadata on the Kafka ecosystem. So the company that I work for, Confluent, basically we build a data streaming platform that is changing the way businesses around the world operate, right? So we are helping customers to identify, realize, and unlock more value by leveraging real-time data streams across the entire enterprise. However, there's a catch, and to get to this point, meaning to safely expand the use of real-time data streams across the business, we believe, and our customers believe, and I think we all believe, that governance is required. So why we think governance is important specifically for real-time data? This was kind of like a realization. So over the years, we've been fortunate to work with customers across the globe and across different industries on their journey to kind of like become this event-centric enterprise where Kafka is at the heart of all the data movements across the business. And typically, Kafka, it's interesting because it has this viral effect. It starts small on the business with some like few pockets here and there, but soon kind of like spreads across different teams and lines of businesses. And so we very clearly realized that as you scale Kafka in the organization, one of the main challenges you will face at some point is to how to govern all these real-time streams of data within the context of a growing complexity. And this really means that kind of like data governance, or as I personally prefer to call it, data enablement, will at some point be a main point of concern and challenge as you move along this event streaming maturity journey towards a central nervous system of real-time data. So really it was clear that like growth, scale, and governance, they go hand in hand together. So in our case in particular, the more streams of data, the more Kafka topics, the more Kafka clusters, developers, lines of businesses, these data products in the new data mesh world, the more controls and visibilities and self-service data discovery and access you will need. And again, this growing complexity, we believe it equates to the need for data governance and data enablement. And plus, I think we haven't talked too much about this today here, but really these data regulations across the world, they're really putting more pressure on how to manage data, and not just data at rest, meaning data in databases and in other systems, but increasingly more and more these data in motion, these real-time streams of data, as businesses move towards this real-time paradigm as a way to stay competitive. And we here within the Kafka community, and I think all here in the metadata community, we all think that metadata is a very key component on addressing some of these challenges. And lucky for us on the Kafka ecosystem, we have a lot of metadata. And so if you start looking under the surface of all these data in motion, we see an ecosystem of metadata, a world of metadata that we decided to leverage, in our case, to build a complete open and controlled data in motion platform. So we have things like schema metadata. So Graham from Saxo Bank talked a lot about part of schemas and things like that. Obviously, very, very key part of the metadata ecosystem. In our case, we have topics metadata, so the place where we store all these real-time streams of data. We have the connectors that bring data in and push data out of Kafka. We have KSQL DB metadata, so KSQL is the streaming database, so stream processing database on top of Kafka. We have Kafka clusters metadata. We have user-defined metadata, right, like these business concepts, the glossaries, etc. We have environments metadata, so if we have production environments, test environments, staging environments. We have relationships metadata, so the lineage aspect, very important, right? How these different objects connect and relate with each other and be able to surface that. We have quality metadata. In our case, we are able to monitor and observe the streams of data, and so provide kind of like quality metrics and metadata about what we see and more. And so with that, we decided to commit here at Confluent on making metadata a first-class citizen on the platform. And a key part of our governance strategy is what we call the stream catalog. So this is a metadata repository that makes sense of data in motion and the Kafka ecosystem around it. So it's a knowledge base that drives self-service and collaborations across teams operating on the Kafka ecosystem. The idea, not very different from other catalogs, but to collect, manage, and expose, in our case, Kafka-related metadata, and then power data discoverability, organization, and compliance on the platform. So the stream catalog is built on top of an entity type system that defines the different types of objects created on the Confluent and the Kafka platform. And these are the schemas, the fields in the schemas, the topics, the connectors. So basically all the metadata types that I've explained in the previous slide. And so there's technical metadata from these entities that flow in near real time into this catalog. And then users are empowered to define and enrich them with extra metadata or user-defined metadata in the form of tags and business metadata that are basically groups of key value pairs. And then to power search and discoverability, we expose a set of RESTful APIs and a GraphQL API, so something that we invest recently because we found that it was extremely powerful to explore and navigate all these data relationships through GraphQL. And also we expose this through the Confluent platform UI. It's kind of like embedded directly. There's not a separate thing. Kafka is a piece of the puzzle, and we know that. And so we know that there is a rich ecosystem and community around metadata. And our plan and strategy here is very simple, is to basically be open, share, and collaborate with other more general purpose metadata systems. So this idea of metadata sharing, of having metadata flowing through different systems is very key to our strategy in helping our customers with these growing challenges around governing data. So just to finalize in summary, our mission here is really to provide our customers with kind of like a self-service data in motion platform where people, they are enabled to do more and better with their company's real-time streams of data. So building a platform that welcomes growth, that helps set the guardrails to control that growth, but in a way that it doesn't lock the data, right? This is very important to us as we think about kind of like modern data governance. It's kind of like have a balanced view around locking the data and unlocking the data, and really help and promote innovation and help business set apart themselves by building these modern real-time products and services. So that's all for today. It was a very quick talk. I hope it was helpful. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the event.